The afternoon sky was golden orange, reflecting the soft light that swept over the surface of the lake in the middle of the city park. The air was cool, carrying the scent of jasmine flowers that had just bloomed. In the crowd, a young woman stood by the lake, her eyes looking far towards the horizon. Her jet-black hair was loose on her shoulders, buffeted by the gentle afternoon breeze. She was wearing a simple white dress, but the aura it emitted made her look like a star among the crowd. Her name is Alia, a young celebrity who is at the peak of her career. But today, she is not filming or attending glamorous events. He was here, in a city park, for something much more personal and meaningful. Several weeks passed, and Alia regularly visited the nursing home. He not only accompanied Grandma Sumi, but also talked to the other residents. She listens to their stories, laughs with them, and even helps Sari's mother take care of them. But one day, something unexpected happened. When Alia was sitting in the garden of the nursing home with Grandmother Sumi, suddenly a young man appeared at the gate. He was in a hurry, his eyes searching for something. When his gaze fell on Alia, he immediately walked over. "Alia, I've been looking for you everywhere," the man said in a tense voice. Alia turned her head, her eyes surprised. "Rafi? What are you doing here?" Rafi is Alia's manager, the one who has been guiding her career in the entertainment world. His face looked anxious, as if something was very important. "Alia, you must return to Jakarta immediately. There is a big offer for you, international films. But you have to meet the producer tomorrow morning," Rafi said quickly. Alia was silent. This was the opportunity he had always dreamed of, to step onto the international stage. But she also could not leave Grandmother Sumi and other residents of the nursing home. "Grandma, I have to go for a while," Alia said quietly, holding Grandma Sumi's hand. Grandma Sumi looked at Alia with tears in her eyes. "You're leaving?" "Yes, Grandma. But I promise I'll be back," Alia replied, her heart breaking to see the sad expression on Grandma Sumi's face. But Grandma Sumi just nodded, trying to smile. "All right, son. Don't forget about Grandma." Alia felt tears running down her cheeks. He didn't want to leave, but he couldn't miss this opportunity either. She stood up, hugging Grandma Sumi tightly. "I promise I'll be back, Grandma. I promise." Alia sat on the park bench of the nursing home, still holding tightly to the letter from Grandmother Sumi. The afternoon breeze blew softly, carrying the same scent of jasmine flowers as the first day he came here. But this time, his mood was much different. There is a deep sense of loss, but also a burning determination. She stared towards the small lake in the middle of the garden, her tears slowly drying up. Deep down, Alia made a promise to herself. She would not let Grandma Sumi leave so easily. The grandmother's last message should be a reminder for her to continue to do good, not only for herself, but also for those around her. Sari's mother approached, sitting next to Alia. "Miss Alia, Grandma Sumi often tells me about you. He said you were the last gift of his life." Alia took a deep breath, trying to calm down. His trembling hand held a small piece of paper containing the address of a suburban nursing home. He didn't know why he felt so nervous. Maybe it's because it's the first time he's done something like this, something that has nothing to do with the entertainment world he's been in. He walked slowly to his car, his heart filled with questions. What will he find there? How did the people in the nursing home react when they saw him? Will they recognize him? Or is it just a stranger coming for no apparent reason? But one thing was certain, Alia felt this was something she had to do. Not because of compulsion, but because of the impulse from his own heart. Alia is no ordinary celebrity. She is a young star whose name has soared after starring in a very popular romantic drama series. Her face adorns various magazines, and she has millions of fans on social media. But behind his success, there is something that has always stuck in his heart. He grew up as an orphan. His parents died in a car accident when he was a child, and he was raised by his loving grandmother. But even her grandmother had died 5 years ago, leaving Alia alone in this world. Perhaps that is what makes her feel empty, even though she has everything: money, fame, and fans who love her. But there is one thing he cannot buy: a sense of belonging and family warmth. Today, Alia decided to visit a nursing home recommended by a friend. His friend told him that there were many elderly people who felt lonely and needed a friend to talk to. Alia felt this was an opportunity for her to give something meaningful, as well as maybe find something she had been looking for. Arriving at the nursing home, Alia was greeted by a middle-aged woman named Ibu Sari, the manager of the nursing home. Mrs. Sari smiled kindly and let Alia in. "Welcome, Ms. Alia. We are very happy that you want to come here," said Ibu Sari in a soft voice. Alia nodded, her eyes sweeping the room. He saw some old people were sitting in wheelchairs, some were reading books, some were just staring out the window blankly. The atmosphere here was calm, but Alia could feel the aura of loneliness enveloping this place. Can I meet them? Tell Alia to slow down. Of course. Let me introduce you to some of the residents here, replied Ibusari. They walked towards a grandmother who was sitting in the corner of the room. The grandmother looked thin, her hair had turned white, and her eyes looked glazed. This is Grandma Sumi, said Sari's mother. He has lived here for 10 years. Her children live abroad, so they rarely visit her. Alia sat next to Grandma Sumi, trying to catch her attention. Hello, Grandma. I am Alia. Can I sit here? Grandma Sumi turned her head, her eyes slowly focused on Alia. Who are you? He asked in a hoarse voice. I'm Alia, Grandma. I came to accompany Grandma. Alia replied gently. Grandma Sumi was silent for a moment, then suddenly her eyes lit up. You look like my grandson. She's as beautiful as you. Alia smiled, her heart touched. Thank you, Grandma. Do you have a beautiful granddaughter? Grandma Sumi nodded, but then her face turned sad. But he hasn't come for a long time. He's busy with his work. I miss him. Alia felt pain in her heart. He knew very well what it was like to miss someone who never came. She held Grandma Sumi's hand tightly. Grandma, if you want, I can be your friend. I can come here and accompany Grandma. Grandma Sumi looked at Alia with tears in her eyes. You want to come again? Yes, Grandma. I promise, Alia answered firmly. Several weeks passed, and Alia regularly visited the nursing home. He not only accompanied Grandma Sumi, but also talked to the other residents. She listens to their stories, laughs with them, and even helps Sari's mother take care of them. But one day, something unexpected happened. When Alia was sitting in the garden of the nursing home with Grandmother Sumi, suddenly a young man appeared at the gate. He was in a hurry, his eyes searching for something. When his gaze fell on Alia, he immediately walked over. Alia, I've been looking for you everywhere, the man said in a tense voice. Alia turned her head, her eyes surprised. Rafi? What are you doing here? Rafi is Alia's manager, the one who has been guiding her career in the entertainment world. His face looked anxious, as if something was very important. Alia, you must return to Jakarta immediately. There is a big offer for you, international films. But you have to meet the producer tomorrow morning, Rafi said quickly. Alia was silent. This was the opportunity he had always dreamed of, to step onto the international stage. But she also could not leave Grandmother Sumi and other residents of the nursing home. Grandma, I have to go for a while, Alia said slowly, holding Grandma Sumi's hand. Grandma Sumi looked at Alia with tears in her eyes. You're leaving? Yes, Grandma. But I promise I'll be back, Alia replied, her heart breaking to see the sad expression on Grandma Sumi's face. But Grandma Sumi just nodded, trying to smile. All right, son. Don't forget about Grandma. Alia felt tears running down her cheeks. He didn't want to leave, but he couldn't miss this opportunity either. She stood up, hugging Grandma Sumi tightly. I promise I'll be back, Grandma. I promise. Alia sat on the park bench of the nursing home, still holding tightly to the letter from Grandmother Sumi. The afternoon breeze blew softly, carrying the same scent of jasmine flowers as the first day he came here. But this time, his mood was much different. There is a deep sense of loss, but also a burning determination. She stared towards the small lake in the middle of the garden, her tears slowly drying up. Deep down, Alia made a promise to herself. She would not let Grandma Sumi leave so easily. The grandmother's last message should be a reminder for her to continue to do good, not only for herself, but also for those around her. Sari's mother approached, sitting next to Alia. Miss Alia, Grandma Sumi often tells me about you. He said you were the last gift of his life. Alia smiled bitterly. I should be thanking my grandmother. He taught me the true meaning of family. Sari's mother nodded, her eyes also teary. You have a good heart, ma'am. Not many people like you are willing to take the time for the people here. Alia looked at Sari's mother with determination. Mom, I have an idea. I want to do something for this nursing home. Not just for Grandma Sumi, but for all the residents here. Mrs. Sari looks curious. What are you planning, ma'am? Alia took a deep breath. I want to hold a special event here. A kind of small celebration, but full of meaning. I will invite my friends from the entertainment world to come and entertain the residents. In addition, I also want to raise funds to improve the facilities here. Sari's mother smiled broadly. That's a good idea, ma'am. But you sure you can do it? You're busy with your career. Alia shook her head. Nothing is more important than this, Mom. I've made a promise to Grandma Sumi, and I won't break it. The following weeks, Alia was busy preparing for the event. He contacted his celebrity friends, ranging from singers, actors, to comedians. At first, some of them were hesitant because of the busy schedule, but after hearing Alia's story about Grandma Sumi and the residents of the nursing home, they all agreed to come. Alia also posted her story on social media. She writes about her experience in a nursing home, about Grandma Sumi, and the promises she made. The post went viral in no time, and many fans and netizens were moved to help. Donations began to flow, not only from within the country, but also from abroad. In the midst of her busy life, Alia still took the time to visit the nursing home. He didn't want to forget the original reason he did all this. Every time he came, he always took the time to talk to the residents, listen to their stories, and give encouragement. One afternoon, when Alia was helping Ibusari tidy up the dining room, another grandmother approached her. The grandmother was named Grandmother Tati, one of the residents who had been quiet. "Alec, can I talk to you for a minute?" Grandma Tati asked in a low voice. "Of course, Grandma. What's wrong?" Alia replied while looking at the grandmother attentively. Tati's grandmother sat next to Alia, her hands trembling, holding a scrap of an old photograph. "This is a picture of Grandma's husband. He died 5 years ago. In the past, we used to sing together. She's the one who taught Grandma to love music." Alia looked at the photo. There was a couple smiling happily, holding a microphone on a small stage. "Grandma and Grandma's husband like to sing, huh?" Tati's grandmother nodded, her eyes glazed over. "Yes, son. But since she left, Grandma never sang again." Grandmother felt, "No one else wants to listen." Alia felt pain in her heart. She held Grandma Tati's hand tightly. "Grandma, if you want, later on our show, you can sing again. I am sure everyone will be happy to listen to Grandma's voice." Grandma Tati was surprised. "Really? But Grandma is old. Grandma's voice is not good anymore." "No problem, Grandma. What matters is the feeling that the grandmother pours out through singing. That's what will make it special," Alia said gently. Grandma Tati smiled. Her eyes twinkled. "All right, son. Grandma will try." The day of waiting has come. The nursing home, which was usually quiet, is now filled with colorful decorations. A small stage has been set up in the middle of the garden, surrounded by chairs for residents and invited guests. Alia stood at the back of the stage, looking at the crowd of people who began to gather. He saw the residents of the nursing home sitting in the front row, their faces full of enthusiasm. There were also her celebrity friends who were already ready to perform, as well as some volunteers who helped organize the event. Alyssa's mother approached her, holding her hand. "Everything is ready, ma'am. Are you sure you're not nervous?" Alia smiled. "A little nervous, Mom. But this is for them. I have to give my best." The event began with an opening from Alia herself. He went on stage, holding the microphone with a slightly trembling hand. "Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming to this special event. Today, we come together not only to have fun, but also to celebrate the meaning of togetherness and affection." She tells a little about her experience in a nursing home, about Grandma Sumi, and the promise she made. His voice was full of emotion, making many people present overwhelmed. "And now, I want to invite someone very special to come on stage. She is Tati's grandmother, who will perform a song for all of us," Alia said, looking at Tati's grandmother sitting in the front row. Tati's grandmother looked nervous, but Alia got off the stage and held her hand, guiding her up. "Come on, Grandma. Everyone can't wait to hear Grandma's voice." Grandmother Tati stood on the stage, holding the microphone with still trembling hands. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and began to sing. His voice may not be as clear as it used to be, but it is full of feeling. She sang an old song that used to be often sung with her husband. Everyone was speechless, dazzled by Grandma Tati's appearance. Even some of the other residents of the nursing home shed tears, recalling their own memories. Grandmother Tati's voice was soft, filling the air around the nursing home. Every word she sings seems to carry a memory of the past, reminding everyone present of the meaning of love, loss, and hope. When the song ended, boisterous applause echoed. Tati's grandmother smiled, her eyes glazed over, while waving at Alia, who was standing beside the stage. "Thank you, Grandma," whispered Alia, hugging Grandma Tati tightly. "You are amazing." Tati's grandmother nodded, her voice trembling. "Thank you for giving me this opportunity, son. I feel live again." The event continued. Alia's celebrity friends performed one by one, entertaining the residents of the nursing home with songs, laughter, and funny stories. The atmosphere that initially had to be blue turned joyful. The residents of the nursing home, who usually just sit still, are now laughing out loud, clapping their hands and even singing along. Alia looked around, her heart filled with happiness. This was the moment he had dreamed of, seeing genuine smiles on the faces of people who had felt neglected all along. He felt, this is the true meaning of happiness, when we can share that happiness with others. All of a sudden, a little boy approached Alia. She is the granddaughter of one of the residents of the nursing home who deliberately came to accompany her grandmother today. The boy held Alia's hand innocently. Brother Alia, I love to see grandmothers and grandfathers happy like this. Thank you, said the boy with bright eyes. Alia smiled, crouching down to the level with the child. You're welcome, son. It's great that you can make them happy. The boy nodded, then ran back to his grandmother's side. Alia stood up, her eyes again swept across the crowd. He saw Ibusari, who was smiling proudly, Grandma Toddy, who still looked excited, and the other residents who seemed to enjoy this event. But in the midst of that happiness, Alia remembered Grandma Sumi. He walked slowly to the corner of the garden, where a large tree was growing. Under the tree, there was a small plaque that had just been put up, reading, "To Grandma Sumi, who taught us the meaning of love and family." Alia sat on a bench near the tree, her eyes looking at the plaque. Grandma, I'm trying to keep my promise. I hope you can see this from there, he whispered softly. The event not only succeeded in bringing happiness to the residents of the nursing home, but also had a huge impact on Alia and the people around her. Videos of the event went viral on social media, inspiring many to do the same. Many other celebrities began to visit nursing homes in similar places, sharing their happiness with people in need. But for Alia, the biggest impact was a change in herself. He realized that true happiness does not come from fame or possessions, but from how we can give meaning to other people's lives. She decided to reduce her shooting schedule and focus more on social activities. One afternoon, Alia again visited the nursing home. This time, he brought along an old friend, Rafi, his manager. Rafi looks amazed to see the changes taking place in the nursing home. Alia, I never thought you could do all this, Rafi said, looking around.